folks, and welcome to ENL. I'm Karen White, and this evening we're going to be taking a look at the contemporary issues teachers are facing in their classrooms today. But first, we're going to head to Ruth Rivera, who'll be taking a look into the struggles surrounding Canada's melting pot.
Thanks, Karen. A growing issue facing teachers is learning how to teach refugee and immigrant children who are new to Canada. Today we'll be interviewing a teacher who has pioneered her own way of accommodating these students. Welcome, Mrs. LIGMA.
Hi, I'm glad to be here.
Would you care to expand on what you've done in your classroom?
Gladly. So I actually worked with an English language teacher, and we modified the curriculum so that the students can participate in discussion and in different activities. We also provided information through a visual means, and we are really big on encouraging peer mentorship, and I often try to make time for one-on-one time with the students. And I also encourage them to speak their own languages at home, just so that there's an appreciation for different cultures and diverse languages.
Why did you decide to do it like that?
Well, I think it's important that students know that all cultures and languages should be celebrated in the classroom. It's the students' differences that make them special, not weak. Keeping up with their first language means that they won't lose it as they learn English and can help with how fast they learn it.
Well, thank you. I think it's important that teachers across the country hear what you're saying and can inspire them in their own classrooms. So, thank you. Now to Fahrenheit with the weather.
Thank you, Ruth. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we bring you the education forecast, and the trending headline is chronic underfunding. That is the big issue facing Saskatchewan teachers today. In the next couple of months, teachers in Saskatchewan may have to prepare for the worst, as we have the possibility of a strike. A tornado of problems that no parent or teacher ever wants to hear. The worst case possibility was suggested by the president of the STF, Patrick Mays. The weather for teachers has been a little bit stormy lately, with disagreements between the teachers and the provincial government, resulting in 90% of STF members voting for sanctions this past February. A big blizzard of what has been deemed chronic underfunding has been brewing for the past few years, as class sizes in Saskatchewan have been going up, whereas resources, funding, and support have all been going down for teachers. And the government doesn't seem to be making any move to increase the funding for education lately. However, there may be some sun in the forecast, as the Board of Directors has recommended a 1% increase in teacher salaries over the first year and 2% over years 2 and 3. An interesting development is that the STF is recommending putting limits on class sizes in Saskatchewan, that teachers have been struggling with the increase of students and have not had the access to resources that they need. And finally, the STF forecasts that they will not be joining the provincial government at the bargaining table anytime soon until they change their stance on funding for education. This forecast applies to all schools in Saskatchewan, as the STF has been working to get support for schools all over the province. Thank you.
Thanks, Farron. This just in, a teacher in East Saskatoon has found herself in a whole heap of trouble with parents, her principal, and maybe even the law. Back to Ruth, who has an exclusive interview with the teacher in question.
Thanks, Karen. I'm here with KATHRYN BROWN, who's requested not to be filmed. KATHRYN BROWN just posted an extremely controversial TikTok. The 15-second clip showed Mrs. Brown with an 18-year-old grade 12 student exclaiming, "Hot student check," and the two laughed afterwards. The video immediately aroused suspicion and outrage in the community, many believing that, while a joke, the video was predatory in nature. Mrs. Brown, how do you respond to these claims?
I don't know what to say. I would never manipulate or take advantage of my kids like that. We think of each other as friends, not as student and teacher. We're just joking around. They want to make a fun TikTok, so we did a spoof on the popular, hot teacher check TikToks. I had no idea it would come this far. It was a joke, and there was no ill intent while making it.
Try telling that to the parents. Mrs. Brown is currently facing potential prison time for her inappropriate relationships with students and has a court hearing later this week. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. Back to Karen in the studio.
Thanks, Ruth. I just got confirmation that we can't play the TikTok, so let's roll that.
Hot student check.
Yeah, about to see it shine, cause we're golden. They can never break us down, cause we're golden.
Absolutely disgusting. The event has spiked many debate, and we'll be sure to keep up with the fate of KATHRYN BROWN and any surrounding issues. That's it for tonight's airing of ENL. Make sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all the latest education news. Join us tomorrow as we discuss COVID-19 and its effects in the education system. Have a good night.